Today we are going to study uh, Pythagorean theorem. Okay, and Pythagorean theorem actually refers to a right angle triangle. In a right angle triangle, the longest side is called hypotenuse. And Pythagorean theorem suggests that the square constructed on the hypotenuse, the area of that square constructed on the hypotenuse, is equal to sum of the squares, sum of the areas of the squares constructed on the other two sides. I repeat, square on the hypotenuse is equal to sum of the squares on the other two sides. Okay, and this is Pythagorean theorem. But you can generalize this theorem. You need not necessarily take all the time only square. I tell you the reason why. You can think of taking any regular polygon. Say for example, you can take an equilateral triangle. An equilateral triangle constructed on the hypotenuse is equal to sum of the two equilateral triangles constructed on the other two sides. Okay, it can be a semicircle constructed on the hypotenuse. So generally we say a semicircle described on the hypotenuse is equal to sum of the semicircles described on the other two sides. So you can take an equilateral triangle, you can take a semicircle, you can take any regular polygon. It can be a hexagon or anything. For the simplicity's sake, we take a square. And here I want to show you my right angle triangle. It is in green color here. Okay, and as you have a right angle here, and this opposite side is hypotenuse. Okay, the longest side of the triangle, and these are the other two sides. So now what I see is there is a square here constructed on the hypotenuse, and there are two colors filled in that, red and blue. So this blue rectangle's area is the same as this blue square area, and this red square area is same as the area of this rectangle, and therefore this red square and the blue square is a combination of two rectangles here, which eventually gives you a square. Okay, this whole thing is a square. So sum of these two squares is equal to this square. So let us understand what happens if we change the dimensions of this right angle triangle and when you turn to this side, as the area of the red square is decreasing, the red rectangle's area also is decreasing. The blue square area has increased, and consequentially you can see the area of this blue rectangle also has increased. So you can take completely red and red, both are equal. You can take blue and blue, completely equal. But in between you can have a part of both. Okay, you can have area of red square plus area of this blue square is equal to this square what we are getting by adding two rectangles actually. So Pythagorean theorem suggests that a square on the hypotenuse is equal to sum of the squares on the other two sides. And we also have generalized that it need not be a square on the hypotenuse, it can be any regular polygon, it can be equilateral triangle, it can be a regular pentagon or a regular hexagon or any number of sides it can have. When I say regular polygon, there are two conditions there. Okay, so when I say regular polygon, all the sides must be equal, and also remember all the angles must be equal. So a little clarification here if you want to seek. Suppose you take a rhombus. A rhombus is not a regular polygon because all sides are equal. There is no problem to that extent, but all angles are not equal, just opposite angles are equal. Whereas a square is a regular polygon because not only all sides are equal, each angle is a right angle. And therefore, here when you talk about the Pythagorean theorem, you say that a square on the hypotenuse is equal to sum of the squares drawn on the other two sides. Okay, a square on the hypotenuse is equal to sum of the squares on the other two sides. And using this Pythagorean theorem, you can determine one side if you know the other two sides. Okay, and say for example, if 3 and 4 are the sides of a right angle triangle, the hypotenuse is 5, because 3 square plus 4 square is equal to 5 square. 9 plus 16 is equal to 25. Similarly, you can understand that 5 and 12 are the sides and the hypotenuse is 13. 25 plus 144 is equal to 169. And similarly, you can say 7 and 24 will give you 25 as the hypotenuse. 7 sevens 49 and 24 times 24 is 576. The sum of these two will give you 625, which is the square of 25. So 7, 24 and 25 is a triplet. Okay, those three can be the sides of a rectangle triangle. Okay, and similarly you can take, say, 9 and 40 will give you 41, and 11 and 60 can give you a hypotenuse of 61. And thank you so much.